This is going to be a really big year for Ridgeline. We are what I'd like to call a hybrid explorer. So we are a mix between a prospect generator and your classic exploration company. We have we're totally Nevada focused. We have three deals between Nevada Gold Mines and South 32. So excellent partners. These total US $60 million in potential expenditures. And Ridgeline retains 20 to 25% fully carried interest all the way to commercial production on all those deals. So I want you to really remember that as we're walking through this. That carried interest is pretty big for us. So our cap structure, we just closed a 4.1 million raise at 15 cents with a half warrant at 25. Great shareholders participated in that. Point out, groups like Merck Investments, Paul Stevens, Rick Rule, Extract Capital. Really great long-term shareholders. I personally own 4% of the company. Management owns about 8%. Founded this company out of my garage in 2018 in Nevada, and I put about $180,000 of my own capital into the company. So this is my only venture. Very motivated to make it a success, and I think this is the year where we're going to see that success really come through. So when I talk about a hybrid explorer, I just want to briefly hit on why this model matters and why it works. We have an exploration pipeline that we are constantly bringing in with early stage assets, staking, acquisition, et cetera. And what we've been able to do is ink these 3 deals with these great partners. This allows us to participate in future discovery while seeing a bunch of money being spent on our projects, all while trying to minimize dilution. On top of that, we have our own 100% owned assets that we are advancing ourselves. I want, as a shareholder, anyone that looks at the company to go, okay, I love the downside risk that's protected by these deals, but at the same time, I always want to offer that kind of 100% blue sky. You drill a great hole, you can see where the stock goes, right? So last slide, we'll talk about that business model. Really what I want to hit home, across these gold bars here, this is the potential spend by each of our partners. The blue bars represent what Ridgeline has invested in these assets over the life of each project to get them to a point where we option them off to these majors. We've spent about $9 million. Potential return and spend is $60 million US across all the projects. That's incredible leverage especially in what has been a very difficult market to see money going in the ground. So we retain these fully carried interests all the way to commercial production, which means we don't get diluted out of a discovery if one's made. Last year, $4 million US was spent on our projects, primarily by Nevada Gold Mines. This year, we're going to see about $14 million US being spent on our projects. So that is an incredible amount of money being spent on our projects. We're going to be funding about $1 million of that ourselves on our own 100% assets. So what I'm going to do, I've picked one project. We have 5 that are being drilled this year, so I strongly encourage you to come by the booth. I'll walk you through them all. I've picked one project that Ridgeline's drilling, and I've picked one project that's being funded by a partner. And we'll get into that right now. First, we're going to talk about the Ridgeline project. Here's a map of Nevada. You have our 3 partner deals here, here, and here. And we're going to be drilling Big Blue starting next week. This is a porphyry copper play. We staked it ourselves. Past producing porphyry copper mine in the early 1900s. It produced 94,000 pounds of copper at 6.2% average grade. Now that's small. We're talking about some guys out there with like a donkey and a pickaxe, right? Whacking away at the side of the hillside. But if that were in production today, it'd be one of the highest grade, if not the highest grade copper mine on the planet. Right, I think maybe Kamoa-Kakula might be a little higher grade. That's an okay deposit too. So we have 2 targets here. We have the Ohio target and we have Delker. We're going to be drilling at Delker here starting next week. It's high-grade copper skarn at surface. You can see you get up to 10 grams per ton in rock chips, 6% copper, not grams, sorry, 6% copper. Over at Ohio, we're seeing an enrichment in gold. So we've actually rock chipped up to 4% copper and 16 grams gold in quartz veins directly above what we think is a porphyry copper target. So we did an IP survey. One thing to point out, essentially this entire area is all shallow alluvium. This is sticking out of the hillside, right? So that's the only outcropping ground here and over at Ohio on the entire project. I'm sorry, I'm scribbling a lot. So the IP can look under that cover, right? Hercules had a really successful drill hole. I'm sure most of you know that story. They used IP to target a blind copper discovery. Their stock went from a 30 million market cap to over 400 million at its peak. What we have here under Delker, you have what looks and appears to be a porphyry signature, which gets even stronger to the south, which is then bleeding up into this historic mine right here. We've rock chipped up to 15% copper here. We're going to be drilling right across that anomaly right here starting in a week. Now the goal is, can we hit over a 200 meter wide corridor Can we get high-grade copper skarn that is transitioning into a porphyry system at depth? We'll answer that porphyry question by stepping back and drilling right into the guts of that anomaly. Now, if we step a few hundred meters to the south, you can see actually we got into the old mine, which probably was kind of dangerous. Probably shouldn't have done it. But that old mine, turn that around, that's what they were mining, was high-grade copper skarn. Now, if we go 500 meters to the south, look what's happening to that anomaly. It is getting bigger, it's getting stronger, and we're also starting to see the Ohio target start to get really exciting, right? You're starting to see that anomaly poking out. High-grade copper and gold on one side, high-grade copper through this corridor. So if we can go out and drill this, prove our concept, this would be an incredibly exciting opportunity, big discovery for the company. It's 100% owned, no royalties, no work commitments. This is all Ridgeline. Now, we're not looking to just go and do a deal on this immediately. We believe that we can announce a material discovery here, which would then allow us to advance this thing to a hopefully much higher market cap than where we sit today. So that's one project that we're drilling this year, starting in a week. Now I want to show you our Salina project. We just had a press release last week that's very exciting. That is a typo. It is not 100% RDG. Well, technically still is, but South32 is earning into 80% ownership of the project by spending $20 million US over an 8-year period. We're the managers of the project. We get 10% of every dollar spent. We're going to make about $500,000 this year on spending alone, or just on management fees. So the reason why you should be excited about Salina, we actually made a pretty significant silver discovery called chinchilla oxide back in 2020. We've drilled up to 32 meters of 300 grams silver equivalent, including up to 6 meters of 1,100 grams silver equivalent in chinchilla oxide. Now, that just in pure metal basis, that's about 6 meters of 480 grams silver, 18% lead, zinc, and 0.1 grams per ton gold, just to give you an idea of kind of the distribution of metals. We've always maintained that the chinchilla sulfide target is the Taylor deposit analog, right? We're all looking to try to find the big CRD. Well, the Taylor deposit in Arizona was a $2 billion takeout by South32 back in 2018. We believe that we have the next Taylor analog. We've been pushing it for a while. Now we have that exact group that's developing Taylor, helping us find one now in Nevada. So this MT anomaly, which chases deep sulfides, it's a very effective technique for finding these deep sulfides under cover, sits right here. It's 2.5 kilometers, or it's 1.5 kilometers wide, sorry. We drilled a hole in 2020 that drilled right into the top of the anomaly, hit up to 3 meters of 600 grams silver equivalent, similar distribution in metals to the chinchilla oxide discovery, did not have the cash to go in, drill deeper. We also didn't have the MT results that suggested we should continue drilling deeper as well. We now know that we have an incredible target here. Thrust faults are bounding the system. Fluids have already been flowing up and feeding into chinchilla oxide. So what's down here at depth, right? Chinchilla oxide is an oxide deposit, obviously. We think the sulfide target at depth is where we want to be. So what could that mean for you as a shareholder? Well, I've done here an overlay of the Taylor deposit. So this is a to-scale overlay of Taylor sulfide. It's a 150 million ton deposit, one of the largest CRDs in the world. That is the footprint that fits inside our MT anomaly, right? So same target here, you got that thrust fault. We need to get in. South32 is going to fund an extensive drill program this summer to come in and drill across this for over 1.5 kilometers in width. It extends 2 kilometers in and out of this section here. Has an incredible opportunity to be a very big discovery for the company. So I'm very excited about this target in particular. We have 4 other drill programs going on, including a gold project. Can't help but mention gold with Brian just talking about a generational opportunity. 2 of our projects with NGM are both gold-only projects. They just drilled up to 10 grams per ton last year, was largely overlooked by the market. I think that's going to change this year. They're going to be spending about $8 million US on that project. So lots going on in the company. Strongly encourage you to come to the booth. Let me walk you through it in a bit more detail. But really what I want to hit home here, we have a 23 million market cap today. We're going to see, that's Canadian. In Canadian dollars, we're going to see about $20 million being spent by our partners at our project. So roughly 95% of our market cap this year is going in the ground, non-dilutive, right? So I think it's a great opportunity. We'll be drilling 2 of our own 100% owned projects, which I do hope will get folks excited. But I think this is going to be kind of the breakout year for the company, and I encourage you to come talk to me at the booth, and I think you'll see why. Thanks a lot.